Awesome. Cool. Okay, so next up is Stephanie and Calvin to talk to you about some of the mobile ad solutions that we're working on that help you not have to worry about the marketing puzzle.
Hi, I'm Calvin Grunewald. I'm one of the lead engineers on the mobile app ads team.
Hi, everybody. My name is Stephanie Shum. I'm a product manager working on mobile app ads. And we're here to talk to you today about how to use Facebook advertising to help you reach the people that you care about at scale. So let me start with this. Sorry, this is me. If you're sitting in the room here today, hopefully you're really inspired by that video you just saw. I was myself like, wow, we do all that? That's awesome. And you're sitting in here in the room today. This is most likely you. You have an app that you've built. You put your blood, sweat, and tears into building the perfect app. You have amazing content. You have fantastic utility. You might even have a line of products at an unbeatable price. No matter what your app is, it's beautiful, and you're ready for the world to see it. There's only one problem. No matter how large or small you are, you're one of 1 million apps in the App Store or Google Play. You are here. Now, not everyone can have the organic virality of a Flappy Bird. Amazing app, by the way. So how do you get your app out there? How do you let the world see what you've built? So about 2 years ago, we at Facebook, as you know, we work with developers like yourselves all the time on our platform products. We asked ourselves this question: how can we help our community of developers get their apps to the people they care about most? As it turns out, Facebook is a pretty engaging product. We have over 600 million people using Facebook on their mobile device every day. So they come to our newsfeed, and they interact with it. They love it. They come to see their friends post. They come to see interesting articles. So we created the mobile app ad product. Just the same way that you see beautiful content in your newsfeed today, now, as a developer, you can show your app in an ad in this very large canvas with great imagery or even a video to show users the value of your app and why they absolutely need to install it or use it, and a specific call to action. In this case, install now. So when we dove into this and we thought, OK, what are the real pain points for developers like yourselves? We came across two key challenges. First, customer discovery and acquisition. How do I get my app that is geared towards a specific audience? How do I even get it in front of them? So we built the mobile app install ad. The way that it works is just like everything else that comes in your newsfeed. There's this large, beautiful app that shows up to the user, relevant to them. With an install now call to action, they click on it, they go straight to the store, install it, and go right back to their Facebook experience. A pretty great, minimally disruptive experience. OK, great. You are now on the user's device. Mission accomplished, right? Not quite yet. The fact of the matter is, you're one of 41 other apps on the user's device. That's a lot of scrolling, right? Only 66% of users will open an app between 1 and 10 times ever. And you all know, sitting in the audience, and I myself know, in order for you to get a user to engage, to sign up for something, to convert, to purchase, they need to be hopelessly addicted to your app. They need to keep coming back for more. So we built, late last year, we released engagement ads. Engagement ads, so let's take an example. The way that it works is, I'm Hotel Tonight. I already have my app installed on Calvin's phone. We've successfully got him to install my app, right? How do I get him to come back? We can run an engagement ad with a call to action, book now. When Calvin clicks on that button, he'll go straight into my app, And not just into my app, he'll get deep linked into an experience that shows him all the hotels in Silicon Valley, because we know he travels from Seattle to the Bay Area for work a lot. That's truly a great experience. Now Calvin is back, and he's like, oh yeah, I am going to the Bay Area for F8, and I want to book a hotel. So let's connect the dots. First, build your install base by running install ads. The user sees this, clicks it, goes to the App Store, installs your app. Now it's on their device. Get them again with an engagement ad, and deep link them, in this case, to go see a fantastic recipe that I'm not actually sure I'll ever have time to use for a breakfast bar that has quinoa and all kinds of amazing stuff in it. But ultimately, you get somebody to convert, which is ultimately to get them to subscribe, let's say, to your weekly recipe. Great. So another question that we get a lot from our current mobile advertisers is actually, I love Facebook. I absolutely love it. It works for me. How do I get more out of this? How do I scale even further? As you saw, Deb talked about today, we're introducing the audience network. This is a fantastic way with just one click to harness all the power of your advertising on Facebook beyond Facebook into the mobile ecosystem. So today you can't kind of like order this a la carte. It's part of your existing Facebook campaigns. But basically, you get all the targeting, the measurement, the simplicity of Facebook advertising with just one click. So you can go to our Create tool, Power Editor, API, all of our ads creation tools, and seriously just check the checkbox, and you can start advertising via the audience network. The creative is dynamically generated from the ads that might appear in Newsfeed, and we create banners, interstitials, and even native ads. You can look at how your campaigns are performing both on and off Facebook, either through our tools or a mobile measurement partner, which I'll talk a little bit about later. And finally, it is available today in beta to our top managed advertisers, and will pretty soon be available to anybody very soon. We're rolling this out. Awesome. Let me give you an example. Uniqlo. Hopefully you guys know Uniqlo, a retail company. I actually personally own, I think, every single piece of their line of ultra light down. It's amazing. They are a partner of ours that is advertising via the audience network. So their main goal is to drive installs for their app for people who are likely to purchase on Uniqlo, but have not used them in their mobile experience. So they actually took a list of people who are using their mobile experience or likely to buy on Uniqlo, and they ran what we call lookalike audience. And they said, find me people that are like my highest value customers and target ads towards them. So the result is Uniqlo is reaching people not only in Newsfeed, the right people, high quality people, highly targeted, but they're also doing this off of Facebook as well. Super powerful, and one of our many happy partners that are advertising. So you're sitting here and you're like, great, fantastic, this sounds great, advertising, does it work though? I know I can advertise on Facebook, does it work? The answer is absolutely yes. So we have, as you might have heard earlier, over 60% penetration amongst our top grossing apps. And we've driven to date over 350 million installs. This product has been around for about a year and a half. That's a pretty amazing number. Fixu just ran a study that compared Facebook performance against banner and video networks. And Facebook was able to drive installs at 9 times the rate of banner networks and 2 times the rate of video networks. Those are some pretty telling numbers. Let me get specific. I think we just saw a video. You guys hopefully caught the Facetune example. This is like our Cinderella story, right? This is exactly what all of you, I hope all of you achieve in this room, right? They were a small start. I think at the time when they started advertising with Facebook, they had like 4 engineers and like $500. And they basically, within 5 days, went from number 283 in the App Store in the US to number 2, only using Facebook advertising in 5 days. That's incredible. They're ROI positive, and the CTRs were great as well. Another example, YPlan. Now, they provide a highly curated list of local events for their users. Actually, probably should use YPlan. It sounds amazing. They, in using engagement ads, saw a 215% return on ad spend. Anytime you can have a 3-digit return on ad spend number, percentage-wise, that's awesome. And a 20% increase in paid bookings. They saw extreme success with engagement ads as well. So great. Hopefully you're all excited. You're like, this is great. I can advertise. You know, it works. How do I get started? Is it easy? Is it hard? You know, what do I do to get started? Calvin is going to walk you through exactly how to do it and show you how simple it is to get started advertising on Facebook.
Thanks, Stephanie. So here at Facebook, we want to make your lives as easy as possible. You've already done the hard work. You've coded your app. You put in the man hours. You click that return button in, and you put your livelihood in the hands of iTunes or Google. For user acquisition, we want to make that easy because everything else seems to be hard. So all you need to begin with mobile app ads and acquiring users through Facebook is your app, and you've already done that. So we'll use an app called Smile as an example. Smile was written by an engineer here at Facebook, VJ, and it's a newsfeed style app that lets you like and share funny pictures collected from around the web. To get started, all I need to do is find my app in the iTunes or Google Play stores and copy the URL to my clipboard. Done. I'm then going to hop over to the Facebook ads creation interface. On the left, you see a series of objectives that you can use across all of Facebook's ad products. We're interested in app installs, so I'm going to select that. And I'm going to paste my Smile URL into the box. Facebook will go out and collect some basic details about the app, such as the icon and the name. When I select Continue, I'm taken to the rest of the flow, where I'll upload my creative and specify my targeting. Now, Stephanie will walk you through some best practices for both creative and targeting a little later. And for this demo, I'm just going to upload a funny image, because that's what Smile is all about. Lastly, in terms of my creative, I want to enter some compelling body text that will get users to actually click on my ad. That's it for creative. We'll move on to the targeting section. As you all know, Facebook provides a ton of ways of targeting your specific audience on Facebook. Specific to mobile app ads, you can target users on certain OS versions of whatever platform you're on, and specific classes of devices. So Smile is only available to users on iOS 7.0 and above, so I want to be sure to select that from this dropdown. And I don't really want to show my ad to people on iPod or iPad, so I'll just deselect these. I'll leave the age and demographic and interest targeting alone for now. And I'll continue on to finish up my ad. I can set my budget here. I'll leave that alone. And I'll ask Facebook to bid for clicks. I click Place Order, and that's it. That's all I need to do to start acquiring users through Facebook's newsfeed. In a few moments, users across Facebook for iOS will see this ad show up in their newsfeed, along with all the other engaging content they're used to seeing every single day. They'll see the funny picture. They'll click on the ad. They'll be taken to the App Store, where they can download Smile and start laughing with their friends. But just getting users to my app is only half the story. You want to understand who your users are. What makes them come back to your app over and over again? What do they do inside of your app that is of advantage to you and of advantage to them that you want to continue to foster and keep them engaged so that you can monetize later on and so that they become fully addicted to your experience? To that end, we offer a series of measurement products to actually let you understand what types of users are coming to your app and what they're doing inside of your app. And so while it was super easy to get started with user acquisition, we recommend that you do just a little bit more work to actually understand who these users are. To that end, we're going to write some code. This is F8 after all. So before we jump over into Xcode, I do want to highlight that for any feature on Facebook platform, you should create a Facebook platform app. I've got one right here for a game my brother and I are building called Z-Guns. And the Facebook platform app is the way that Facebook identifies your app amongst all the other apps using the Facebook platform. And in particular, this unique identifier, the app ID, is really important for logging app events from your mobile app. So we'll copy this to our clipboard because we'll reference it later on. So let's jump over into Xcode. So the way that we do measurement is through the Facebook SDK. And the Facebook SDK provides a toolkit called App Events that you will use to log any event that you can possibly imagine. Specific to mobile app install ads, we at a minimum recommend you log the app activate event, which is just a specific predefined event the Facebook SDK provides to you. So let's see what that looks like. So before I can actually log my event, I need to embed the Facebook SDK inside of my app. I've already got it installed on my local machine. To embed it inside of my app, I just need to drag and drop it over into the frameworks folder. Xcode should do the hard part and recognize it and link it against my binary. That's all I need to do to reference the Facebook SDK. Now, because we're going to log the app activate event, we want to do that whenever the app gets launched. The app activate event has a couple of interesting semantics that other custom user-defined app events don't have. And namely, Facebook will use the app activate event to determine who your active users are and if this is the first time that they've entered your app, and that's what we count as an install. So let's see what this looks like. So I've imported the Facebook SDK. So now I can type ahead to the two functions that I need to call to do all the hard work to log app activate events. Now, in iOS, whenever the app is launched, the application did become active. Delegate method of my app delegate is what gets called. And so this is where I want to actually log my app activate event to track installs and to track app launches. The first piece of code I want to write is a registration of my app ID with the Facebook SDK. We have to aggregate your custom events back to your app somehow, and we do this using the Facebook app ID. This allows us to surface those events and information about the users logging them and taking the actions that log them in App Insights, which we'll go through shortly. So this registers my app ID with the Facebook SDK. And secondly, I actually want to do the hard part, and use the FB app events class and the activate app method to actually log the app launch back to Facebook. Again, Facebook will determine if this is the first time we've seen an app launch for a user, and if so, we'll count it as an install. That's it. 3 lines of code, and you have install measurement. You can see the various demographics and segments of users launching your app. Facebook will show you that data over time. You now have measurement. You now can understand your audience. And most importantly, you can measure your mobile app ad spend and how much it's costing you to acquire users, so you can maximize your downstream lifetime value of those users and your return on investment. So I'm going to add an optional 4th line of code, just for the sake of this demo, to flush the event to the server in real time. Normally, the SDK will intelligently batch these events for you, so you don't need to worry about this. I'm going to stick a breakpoint here and run my app. So as the app launches, my breakpoint gets hit. If I background it and open it again, it'll get hit again. And these events right now are traveling to the Facebook server, where we are sticking them into Apps Insights for you to consume later on. So with any code, you definitely want to test that it works. So let's jump back over to the web and my app dashboard for Z-Guns, and click on over to Insights so that we can confirm Facebook has received these events. This is App Insights. At the top, I have an App Events tab. I want to select that. And in this second box in the right-hand corner, we have a link to show the last events Facebook received from your app. And this is a great debugging tool that lets you check that your integration with the App Events toolkit in your app is working correctly. So when I select this, I get a dialog box, and here you go. The 2 app activate events that I logged from my app have made it to Facebook, and Facebook has recorded them. Now, Zguns isn't launched to the public, and it probably won't be for some time. And to really show you the power of App Insights and the power of the app activated event and the power of any event that you choose to log from your app, I'm going to return to Smile and show you what this data looks like with many users in production. So here we are on Smile's App Insights page. You can already see that there's a lot more data because Smile is released to the wild. And we're going to click over to App Events for Smile. And at the top, we surface a number of details that pertain to the App Activate event. Again, we use App Activate to track installs. We use it to track active users over time. And we show you just the bulk number of times your app gets launched. So let's dive into installs and see who's installing my app. At the top of this dashboard, we let you change the time range of the data that Facebook is showing you. So right now, it's defaulted to a month. I'm going to drop it back to a week because I'm really interested in what's happened in the last week, especially with the lead up to F8. At the top, you can change a number of pivots to, again, affect the data. I'll leave them alone for now. We show you a trend line of installs over time. You can break this line down by age or gender. We show you a nice plot of your age and gender breakdowns. And I want to call your attention to the number of men that have installed Smile versus the number of women. And I'll bring this up again when we go look at a specific custom app event Smile is logging in a few minutes. Lastly, we offer a number of pivots by which you can break users down who install your app. Here we see users by country. We see that 42% of people are in the United States, but Mexico is a close second. If we click over to language, we can confirm that a lot of people in Mexico are using Smile. And as I'm thinking about my next development cycle for Smile, I may want to consider localizing in Spanish, since I already have a significant number of users who speak Spanish. You can look at what types of devices are using your app. If I'm writing a game and I'm adding a performance-critical feature, and I know that a lot of people are on an older device, I want to make sure that feature performs well on that device. Lastly, for installs, we show you the number of installs that are driven from Facebook, as well as other organic channels. For Smile, the majority of installs have come from mobile app install ads. So let's return to the top-level app events dashboard. And I want to talk for a moment about custom app events. Now, remember earlier I said App Activate is a very specific predefined event offered by Facebook, wrapped up in a nice, succinct API. Through app events, you can log any event you choose in your app. If you're writing an e-commerce app and people can buy shoes, you can log the fact that someone purchased a new pair of shoes. With that data, you can log how much they paid for it and what the item number was. If I'm writing in a game and a player beat the dragon at the end of the game with their level 50 wizard, I can log all that to Facebook, and Facebook will surface it in App Insights. Now, Smile, again, is a newsfeed app. And so one of the custom actions and events that Smile logs back to Facebook is a like story event. So as a user, I go through Smile and I like a funny picture. We send that action back to Facebook. And so Facebook can tell me about the types of users who are engaging with my content, who are liking these funny pictures. So let's dive in and see what that looks like. Now, the custom app events dashboard is very similar to the mobile app install dashboard I showed you earlier. We, again, have a trend line over time using a week of data. We have demographics. And I want to call this out because there's an interesting disconnect here between the people who are liking stories and content inside of Smile and the people who are actually installing Smile. Here, remember that we saw that mainly men installed Smile. Yet here we see that mainly women are liking content inside of Smile. Also, if you look at the age buckets, we see that the majority of likers are in the very young age bucket, And if I were to go back and show you the mobile app installs page, they'd be in that middle 18 to 24 age bucket. So some interesting differences between users who install and users who engage. And long term, if likes are somehow correlated to repeated launches or repeated engagement inside my app, I want everyone to be liking stories inside my app. And so I really want to understand why it is that men install but don't like, what makes women like more often than men, what keeps people coming back and liking. And so I'm going to run some tests in the next development sprint to understand these numbers and get everyone liking. If likes correlate to my monetization strategy down the road, this is super important. And through custom app events, you can really learn about what types of actions people are using your app so that you can pay attention to that as you develop your monetization plans. Again, we offer breakdowns. And for custom app events like Story, you can actually specify other keys and segments by which you want to break down data. So for likes, we're logging the story ID whenever we actually log this action back to Facebook. And so I can go in and see what are the most funny pictures people are liking across all users in my app. So what you've seen in the past few minutes is both the install app event as well as the like story app event and the power of tracking users and their actions inside your app and the ability of Facebook to combine those users' actions with their identities and show you what types of people engage with your content, what types of people are most likely to engage in your content, and help you plan how to keep those people engaged. Now, I want to come full circle back to mobile app install ads and mobile app engagement ads. The last thing we show you on this dashboard is a plot of who your most valuable users are for whatever event you're currently looking at. So using this dashboard, I can see that 25% of my users are responsible for 80% of my likes. There's always going to be a set of users that are the most valuable across any action in your app. These are your whales. And so using this information, as well as the raw custom event data Facebook has from your app, you can feed that back in to our ad system and send ads directly to those users using mobile app engagement ads and mobile app custom audiences. John and Robbie will talk in depth about these two technologies in a couple hours, and I highly encourage you to attend. So we've kind of come full circle, and we've seen how easy it is to take an app you already have in the store and start acquiring users through Facebook. We've seen the power of measurement and how it enables you to know who these users are and gain insights about how to keep them engaged and coming back to your app. And we've seen how you can take that custom app event data, feed it back into your user acquisition and engagement strategies, and really hone in on the most valuable users that are going to make you the next Mark Zuckerberg. All of this is well documented on our developers' Facebook page. We'll share out a link later, as well as talking to the guys at the F8 Garage. They will be more than happy to help you get integrated today. In fact, there's really no reason any of you should leave F8 without a fully integrated app. It's that easy. I'll hand it back to Stephanie, who will tell you what's new with mobile app ads, as well as go over some of those best practices that I referenced earlier.
Great, thanks. Actually, in order to leave, we won't let you leave unless you're fully integrated. No, I'm just kidding. OK, great. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, this is F8, right? We've got to be announcing some great stuff. What's new? What's coming up? So first of all, calls to action for installs. We've learned so much from our engagement ads, which we released late last year, as well as other Facebook ad types. We've learned by giving the user a very specific call to action in the ad, it actually increases the likelihood that they will take that action after they click on the ad. So for example, if you are an e-commerce app, shop now. If you are a game, play now. If you're a travel app, book now. You see where I'm going with this. So all of these calls to action, which are available for engagement ads, will now be available also for installs. Next, app insights. So we hear over and over again from our mobile app developers that they inform their product roadmaps and their marketing efforts by understanding trends and information regarding users who have already installed their app. So where did they live, what language they speak, all the things that Calvin just talked about. So with our updated app insights, you'll be able to look at all this information in a really beautiful and very easy to use way. So I highly encourage you to do that. Next, Android advertising ID support. So to date, you have been able to use IDFA or a list of email addresses to create custom audiences. We are going to be supporting Android advertising ID as well. And finally, exclusion. So to date, in order to exclude users who have already installed your app, you've had to either upload a custom audience list, or you've had to make some changes to your app itself, if you have an iOS app. Starting very soon, you'll be able to, when you create the ad, just include the app URI, and we will automatically exclude those users for you, which is pretty awesome. Another thing I want to add here is we're just making custom audiences even more powerful. Calvin talked a little bit about targeting kind of your highest value users. So for example, if you can target the top 25% of your players, you can create a custom audience based off of that and target them. Maybe give them an offer or get them to engage again with your app. You can also do a cool thing where you can say, OK, I want users who have taken this action, but not this action. So for example, I want people who have added to cart, but have not actually made the purchase yet. And I want to give them a special deal to kind of make them convert, right? These are all things you can do with all of our updates. So pretty exciting stuff. Now, Calvin mentioned earlier, I'm going to go through some best practices. Now that you guys are hopefully really excited about advertising, how do I optimize my campaign? How do I make it work best for me? So our strategy really falls into 3 areas: creative, targeting, and scale. Let's talk about creative first. So there are basically 4 parts to your creative. There's the app icon, the title, the description, and of course, the image or video itself. So tip number 1, include mobile devices in your creative. This helps the user visualize how the app will look and how it will work on their actual device. Next, illustrate your value with numbers. We have 1 million videos. We've had 40 million downloads. This gives the user an idea of the scope of the content that you have in your, or the number of users that you have in your app. Sorry, I went back. Let me go back for a second. I missed one. This is actually really important. Illustrate what your app does. So we recently, late last year, released the ability for you to include video. This is really, really important and kind of essential to telling the user what the value of your app is. So if you're a game, show a trailer. If you are a utility app, show a tutorial. Show them actually how it works once they download. Entice them to install or re-engage. And finally, test, 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 test. So I, as a product manager, and probably a bunch of you in the room as well, we all think we know what users want, what's going to get them to click, right? I would find this the most engaging. But the reality is you have to test. You never know what users are going to respond to. And the guys at that build Clash of Clans definitely know about this. They test every single ad campaign that they put out there. They test like crazy. Tons of permutations, et cetera. This is really a valuable tip. Next, targeting. I like to call this the Facebook special sauce, right? We have really, really high quality targeting. We have standard demographics, age, gender, geo, and the accuracy of this targeting is extremely high. Interest-based targeting. So if you're a user on Facebook, you're liking pages, we know what kind of music you listen to, what kind of books you like to read. All this plays into the targeting, and you, as an advertiser or developer, can use this to target your app just to the right user. If you're a music app, if you're a travel app, these are things that you can leverage. The information that we know are things that you can leverage to target your app to just the right user. And this is available only via Facebook and Audience Network. OK, custom audiences and lookalikes. We talked about this quite a bit. Custom audiences, if you already have a user base, or you have, like let's say people who subscribe to your email or newsletter, or you have a database of people that you know already use your app, you can upload that and specifically target them and know that you're going to reach them via Facebook. In addition to that, you can say, find me. I know these people love to use. I'm Uniqlo, right? I already know the people that like to use my app or that already use my products, right? And you can say, find me people who look like this person. They have the same attributes, right? These are likely people who will also install your app. So you can do that as well. You can always build a lookalike audience. Again, only available via Facebook. And finally, scale. So I talked a little bit earlier about the audience network. Again, a very easy one-click way to extend your Facebook campaign to really scale it and really leverage all the targeting I just talked about into more mobile experiences. And you can still get all the insights and all the results that you get from Facebook. I highly encourage you to use it. Finally, global. Our top partners cover over 40 countries. If you want, Calvin just showed you a way to identify where to go next with your app. This is a great way to scale globally. Phase 2 in the Cinderella story of F8 has done this. Like, they hit number 2 in the US App Store, but they hit number 1 in, I guess this is an outdated number, I think this is like 40, I think it's 70-something countries outside of the US. Over 60% of their revenue comes from outside the US. They are an amazing story to refer to. And finally, scaling with expertise. So we have at Facebook a ton of partners, and you saw from the keynote, we have a ton of partners that we work with on a day-to-day basis and who really know all the tips and tricks to advertising on Facebook. First, I'll talk about preferred marketing developers. They combine deep technology expertise and strategy to make marketing easier and more effective. So that's PMDs. Mobile measurement partners really help you provide app acquisition and engagement analytics. So they provide attribution, LTV, ROI, all the things that you're looking at to make your business really successful. And so they do that across channels. So they're really, really valuable partners to us. If you need any more information, Bryant Lee, who's I think back there, he's raising his hand, and Jeremy Barton, who's hiding in the back checking his phone, because he knows all this already. The two of them, they are the folks that work with our PMDs and MMPs really closely. I highly suggest you connect with them and talk to them. Are there any PMDs actually in the audience today too? All right, perfect. So keep in mind those guys. And please talk to them about scaling your advertising and your business. They definitely are experts in this stuff. We also have a garage. Hopefully you guys know where those all are. If you don't, look at your F8 app, and there's maps. They will be available there. Please go talk to them. Again, they're experts. And finally, we just announced, I think Ime just announced our FB Start program. If you're brand new, you're not even advertising with Facebook yet, or you're a very small startup, please use them as a resource. They are, again, experts at getting you started at all this, and they have access to all the resources you might need to get going. Great, so hopefully you guys all found this informative, and you're excited to start advertising on Facebook. And I think Calvin and I will answer some questions now. I think there's a mic. Sorry, I should mention this. They're running mics back and forth.
Hey guys, thanks for the mic, helps a lot. So you showed us some very interesting app analytics earlier. Is that equivalent, or does it replace the mobile measurement partners? And does that allow us to measure people that does not necessarily acquired through Facebook? What if I acquired a user from another channel? Will I still be able to get stats on that?
Great. Yeah, so you will be able to know all installs, whether you pay for Facebook advertising, like whether they're through paid channels or organic channels. So you'll know installs from there. In terms of measurement, our mobile measurement partners actually provide measurement across not just Facebook. So if you're advertising across multiple networks, and also if you want to dive deeper into like things like LTV and ROI, they're fantastic resources for that.
To add to that, mobile measurement partners will actually send back app events.
Yes.
So not only do you get their measurement in analytics, you also get Facebook's.
Yes.
So you can go to either place, and you will see similar data.
Oh, okay. Right there.
Hi. Do you have any plans to allow advertisers to target specific apps or groups of apps in the way that the Google Display Network, for example, allows you to target specific websites?
That's not in our plans currently. But you saw all the targeting that we do provide. There's a lot you could do in terms of category and interest-based targeting.
So I guess what I'm thinking is that there are things that the current platform allows you to target very easily based on, say, demographics, gender.
Yes.
If we want to target things which are more specialized, which the app might give you an indication of, say I want to target, I mean, we're in the healthcare space, so say we want to target diabetes patients.
Mm-hmm.
There may be apps which are very focused on the needs of diabetes patients, for example, and so that would be an easy way of targeting them, which may not be easily accessible through the current targeting that you provide, for example.
So we do have some concerns with using other apps within your domain's events to target users for your specific app. So it's one of those things that we're constantly thinking about and seeing how we can potentially provide a solution while respecting other apps' events and their
their data, yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Mic runners, take your pick. OK, great.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
Two questions on the fan network. The first one, do you have any early reads on pricing? Is it still the pure auction system?
Are you talking about the audience network?
Yes, so if I wanted to spend money on that network.
Sure.
And then beyond that, will you open it up to different types of ad units, so page-like ads, or is it just mobile?
Sure. So we're starting off with, you have two questions, so I want to make sure I answer both. We're starting off with just mobile app ads. And it's very early stages. We're always exploring what we're going to do next. So, but for now, it's only mobile app ads. And your other question was pricing, right? Again, still very early. We can't comment yet on pricing, but tests so far have shown that this is very effective for advertisers and publishers. You pick Nate.
Yeah, do you guys actually provide the segment-level retargeting pixels? Let's say the one guy who is asking about like how do you actually target diabetes patients, right? Mm-hmm. So what if we actually place the pixel on their website, and then we can actually you can actually allow us to target those users? Is that actually possible? Like
put a pixel on their website or your own website?
Their website, and then you guys getting the data to Facebook, and then we can actually target those guys.
So if you can, I guess, convince them to put your pixel on their website, that should work. The main point is that Facebook doesn't own these apps' data. The app developers, the websites, own their data. So as long as they're OK with some other app or using their data for targeting purposes, then that should be fine.
Oh, OK. Lucky
you mentioned briefly about deep linking through the mobile app installs, and you showed an example where someone who wanted to travel and then they had the deep link into the hotels in San Francisco because they were from San Francisco. How are those deep links? Are those static? Are they dynamic? How do they know that person's from San Francisco? If you're coding a deep link into an app, how is it dynamically generated?
So much like you generate like your URL scheme for your website, you're going to have like this whole deep link hierarchy of schemes. And to answer your specific question about how do they know who I am, they would have had to collect that data from me at an earlier point. So maybe when I registered with Hotels Tonight the first time, I gave them my country of origin, or my city of origin, my credit card number, all that stuff, and they've got that data about me, and they just know that F8's coming up. They target the deep link at me that specifically links to that Silicon Valley search listing page, and then I click on it and I go there. So it's a combination.
It's not really dynamic then.
It's dynamic. Yeah. I mean, it's a static link that they
based on the user,
support in a generic way.
OK. Thank you so much. For those, I know there are a lot of hands up. Please come to our garage, and we can answer lots more questions. We'll have a whole cross-functional team there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, the two relevant tables, if you have advertising questions, would be the advertising table in the garage and the PMD table.